Welcome to the news on NTA International. I'm Nancy Godi Angonihu, and on sign language is Taiwo Ozoma. First, the headlines. Nigeria takes step further in the development of livestock sector. Bayelsa State to partner France on agricultural development. Plus, global climate agreement draft proposes developed countries provide $250 billion annually by 2035. And now the news in full. President Bola Tinubu assures that Nigeria would provide a successful economy out of the current situation by adopting a civilized approach towards solving the farmer-herder clashes in the country. The president said this in Brazil as the government takes a step further in the development of the livestock sector in Nigeria. State House correspondent Musbau Denwahab reports.
The Nigerian delegation on tour to learn the Brazilian experience in livestock production are back on the table with their findings.
Okay, please.
President Bola Tinubu certainly wants a sound footing for the takeoff of a newly established Ministry of Livestock Development. So, learning from the right hand is the watchword as the delegation visited 3 conglomerates here, including JBS, a Brazilian multinational company, largest meat processing enterprise in the world.
Your Excellency, we are convinced that the life sector reform being implemented today has a lot to learn from the Brazilian experience, and the private sector here represented have shown strong commitment to partner along and replicate the successes in Nigeria.
I think we've come to the right place, we've got the right partners. The issue now is how to proceed step by step.
And we'll do our very best to ensure that what has been done in Brazil is replicated in Nigeria.
And to support whatever venture we are driving. But as a state, Niger State, we are providing ourselves a pilot state. Already we have identified about 1.2 million hectares ready for this production.
What we are trying to do.
The man who sees opportunities in the current challenge in Nigeria's livestock sector obviously has the plans thought out already.
We are solving a problem that afflicted humanity in that part of Africa. Clash between farmers and migrating cow, shoulders and all of that has caused some life and bloodshed. So when there is a modern civilized way to solve those problems and even bring a successful economy out of it.
President Tinubu believes that in only a matter of time, the solution to the sector would also solve another challenge of food security.
Food security is extremely important. As we talk right now, there is hunger. However, there is huge hope. And you are one of those hopes that we're looking at.
Both parties have now agreed to collaborate as expressed in the letter of intent and set to proceed to the first phase of the cooperation to maximize the entire value chain of the sector.
Brazilian captains of industry here who have been part of this engagement today are going to visit Nigeria for exploratory tour to see what's going to happen, select suitable sites where we're going to have suitability of land, fertility of land, availability of bodies of water for irrigation, as well as possible for hydro, as well as growing of corn, sorghum, sweet corn, soybean, as well as ease of transportation to manage the logistics, and then availability of markets.
The key aspect will be that for you to have a successful livestock industry like he has described, they also need feed. And that feed has to be produced, and that is where the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security will come in.
The foreign partners are expected to visit Nigeria soon for for the immediate study tour. From Rio de Janeiro, Musbao, then Wahab, NTA News.
And still from Rio, Niger State has signed a $5 billion ethanol offtake agreement with Brazilian company to develop sugarcane production potential of the state. The agreement is to set up plants in the state for the production of sugar and its byproducts. The state's delegation, led by Governor Mohamed Umar Bago, leveraged Nigeria's participation at the just concluded G20 Leaders Summit in Rio de Janeiro to conclude on the partnership. Learning from the first two leading producers of sugar in the world, Brazil and India, the governor says his state, with the largest landmass in Nigeria, is hoping to maintain a leading position in sugar production while also becoming a hub for agriculture generally. He believes that apart from the imminent huge job opportunity, the investment will have a multiplier effect on the national economy.
Sugarcane. We are also doing livestock because we have bagasse here that's going to be used to feed the animals. We have molasses for pharmaceuticals. We have the ethanol itself. It's a biofuel. Behind ethanol, we have carbon credit. This is another value chain in this production. And after that, again, you have power, because if each of these plants generate a minimum of 100 megawatt of electricity, then you have 250,000 hectares of field that people are going to be farming on.
We are already starting work like a couple months ago. We joined force. We want to bring the best of Brazil and India together to produce these kind of plants, to build that plants over there and to bring development for Africa.
And more from Rio, a new draft of a global climate agreement which proposes that developed countries provide $250 billion annually by 2035 to help poorer countries fight global warming has been released at the COP29 in Abuja. It is the first time a concrete number has been formally proposed at the UN climate talks in Baku and comes on the final day of a summit dominated by divisions over money. Kolo Mohammed reports.
The draft text sets an ambitious overall target to raise a total of $1.3 trillion a year by 2035, with the money from rich governments at the core of funding that will be coupled with private sector investment. The nearly 200 nations at COP29 have struggled to agree on a new goal that boosted assistance for developing countries to cut emissions and adapt to climate change. The existing pledge committed wealthy nations most responsible historically to global warming to provide $100 billion a year in climate finance. An influential negotiation of bloc of 135 developing nations, including China, had demanded at least 5 times that figure from developed countries. Major contributors, such as the European Union, had said such demands were politically unrealistic and that private sector money must play a large part. The EU had resisted pressure to put its own figure on the table and wants newly wealthy emerging economies like China, the world's largest emitter, to contribute to the overall goal.
This is such a disgrace. We are so angry, we are so frustrated to see that developed countries have offered a figure of $250 billion annually when they very well are aware that needs are running into trillions of dollars. It is a bad deal. It's a deal that developing countries must reject. It's about a matter of dignity for people who are already suffering. It's a disrespect to those who need to help their people move away from fossil fuels and protect them from climate disasters. And this money is not going to help them. It's not even real money. It's going to be full of loans.
Many countries have also pushed at COP29 for a redoubling of efforts to cut planet heating emissions, something opposed by the Arab group of nations which does not want fossil fuels singled out. Kolo Mohammed, NTA.
The World Health Organization, WHO, on Friday said more than 1 million children are at the risk of acute malnutrition in the Democratic Republic of Congo. It said this was the result of widespread increasing and recurrent food insecurity in areas impacted by years of conflict. Kolo Mohammed again tells us more.
The recent escalation in violence in the ongoing conflict in the east of the country between Congolese forces and the M23 militia has forced more people to flee their homes. Describing the situation as catastrophic, World Health Organization says the overwhelming water and sanitation systems has resulted in outbreaks of diseases, including cholera, measles, and mpox. Elsewhere in that country, severe flooding and landslide, as well as long-simmering conflict, have given rise to growing needs of the people. With over 25 million people affected, the WHO said the DRC had the world's highest number of people in need of humanitarian aid, even though it has remained severely underfunded. It added that assistance is severely constrained by military presence around displacement sites and health facilities, bureaucratic impediments, and roadblocks disrupting aid delivery. The UN agency called for immediate action and sustained unimpeded access to address basic needs, urging parties to work together to restore peace. Kolo Muhammad, NTA News.
As part of efforts to make Bayelsa State a hub for agricultural development to boost food security and sufficiency, the state government says the state is open to genuine investors for economic development. Timine Prayer Ohia reports that the governor disclosed this when he received the regional agricultural counselor of Embassy of France in Nigeria, Dr. Sonia Darako.
The France Embassy is in the Bayelsa State Government House to seek areas of mutual interest. So, the agricultural sector and technical education were fast spotted and agreed upon for partnership. The team, led by the France Embassy Regional Agricultural Councillor for Togo, Benin Republic, Ghana, and now Nigeria, said the visit, among other things, is in developing agricultural business to make farming more attractive and requested the state government's plans to enable the French embassy to key in.
It's sad, as Commissioner said, and this is very unfortunate for Bayelsa State people. So I have only one thing to add. Together with the private sector, the French government, the French companies, and the Bayelsa State government, and His Excellency the Governor, we will do our best to have this place resuscitated.
Bayelsa State Governor Senator Doyediri thanked the visiting team and noted that the state government had already developed the Assured Agenda, which is a comprehensive framework built on 7 pillars, and the first hinge on agricultural revolution and blue economy, which will focus on revolutionizing the agricultural sector as part of the state's development strategy. The governor, Doyediri, was represented by the deputy governor, Lawrence Orijakbo, noted that the state government has comparative advantage in rice, plantain, cassava, and aquaculture, and will need to collaborate with the investors for advanced techniques and technologies to promote food security, agro-business, as well as boost the agricultural value chain in the state.
We believe that with agriculture, we are going to do well and do more and do better for ourselves. After us, it was the agricultural revolution that led to the industrial revolution. And so agriculture is the hamburger, is the fertilizer or the manure that germinates industrialization.
Government is ready, absolutely ready for partnership, collaboration, and whatever it takes to bring back our state assets that are lying fallow to life, and no effort to be spared in that regard.
The visiting team was conducted around the Bayelsa State Palms in Yenogwa, Siminepri, Ohia, NTA News.
A stakeholders conference on improving support system for victims of gender-based violence has ended in Abuja, with a call on government and development partners to scale up funding for sexual assault referral centers, SACs. Facilitated by the European Union, the conference identified gaps that could be bridged using the justice system at the state level. Kevin Ewunaye reports.
The sexual assault referral centers, now operational in 20 states of the Federation, are an integral part of the support system mechanism in the bid to end gender-based violence in Nigeria. After the 3-day engagement of stakeholders funded by the European Union, development partners through the Rule of Law and Anti-Corruption Program wants the government at both state and federal levels to start funding Sexual Assault Referral Center SACs and also to fund the implementation of the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act in their states. This, according to ROLAC, will not only help in pursuit of justice for survivors of sexual-based violence, but also reduce the menace. The discussion on seeking justice for survivors identify 3 approaches: survivor, perpetrator, and a whole societal approach.
The focus of the Rule of Law and Anti-Corruption Program is to support initiatives and reforms at the state level to enable justice for a wide variety of citizens. We are working at the state and federal level to look at criminal justice initiatives and reforms that will enhance access to justice.
To make SAC system effective, speakers admonish responders and service providers on better practices for survivors.
We're sorry for a loss of audio in some parts of that report. This is news on NTA International. We take a break. As Nigeria gears up to join the global community in observing the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence campaign from November the 26th or 25th, the Executive Secretary of the National Human Rights Commission, Tony Ojukwu, SAN, has emphasized the significance of this year's theme, equality, reducing inequality, and advancing human rights, while briefing the media in Abuja. Austin Anyabe was there.
The 16-day advocacy, he said, reaffirms a collective commitment to protecting the rights of every individual in Nigeria and beyond, which calls for attention, collaboration and investment of key stakeholders like the media, faith-based organizations, human rights actors, student unions, women organizations, and security agencies to re-strategize in stemming the tide against violence on women and the girl. The event, organized in partnership with the Rule of Law and Anti-Corruption, ROLAC, supported by the European Union and implemented by the International Institute for Democracy, Electoral Assistance, is carrying out this year's campaign vigorously in Nigeria, where gender-based violence remains a pervasive issue.
On the flag off of the celebration and the 16 days of activism, which is a campaign based on creating awareness around the issues of sexual and gender-based violence. Throughout the 16 days of activism, we'll be engaged in various activities aimed at raising awareness about gender-based violence, promoting gender equality, and advocating for policy and legislative reforms to prevent and respond to violence against women and girls.
According to study, nearly 1 in 3 women experience violence in their lifetime, and girls are at particular risk of violence, with 1 in 4 adolescent girls being abused by their partners. Since 2019, ROLAC has been at the forefront of targeted advocacy, public sensitization during the 16 days of activism, collaborating with government agencies, civil society organizations, and the media. The initiatives have led to the establishment of Sexual Gender-Based Violence Court in the FCT in 2021 and replication of sexual assault referral centers across the country. In Abuja, Austin Anyebe, NTA News.
The International Federation of Women Lawyers, FIDA, says they will continue in the pursuit of justice, bridging gaps and ensuring justice for all in Nigeria. The national president, International Federation of Female Lawyers Nigeria, Amina Susanna Agbaje, re-echoed this in Abuja at a media parley heralding FIDA Nigeria's triennial conference.
There's no way you can talk about the justice system that FIDA Nigeria is not involved. And so we are that organization that is poised, to ensure that there's credibility in the judiciary.
We feel privileged, we feel honored that as at this time we are here, still holding the battle. And FIDA has come a long way in Nigeria with in everywhere, supporting and defending the rights of women and children.
The Media Parley offers moments to reflect on the journey of FIDA Nigeria at 60 and its commitment to its vision to ensure access to justice for women, children, and the marginalized in society. Youth empowerment is the foundation for Nigeria's development strategy and Africa's broader integration goals. Vice President Shettima, represented by the Deputy Chief of Staff to the President Ibrahim Hassan Hadeja, stated this at the Youth Legacy Conference at the State House Banquet, Abuja. He notes that a unified effort to bridge generational divides in Nigeria is essential, emphasizing the pivotal role the youths play in shaping Nigeria and the continent's future. The theme of the conference is Shaping Africa's Future with African Continental Free Trade Area and Agenda 2063, highlighting the alignment between Nigeria's youth-focused initiatives and Africa's development blueprint.
This transformation into a global commercial powerhouse can only be achieved by opening our doors to the youth. Our vision aligns with that of the energetic Mandela Washington Fellows, whose work across communities in Nigeria and Africa exemplifies volunteerism and leadership at its finest. I commend you for your dedication to mentoring the next generation and championing causes that improve lives.
Together, we are demonstrating that Africa's strength lies in our unity, in our diversity, and in the unyielding spirit of its people. Let us commit ourselves to meaningful deliberations, actionable outcomes, and lasting collaborations. The future of Africa is not a distant dream.
The Mandela Washington Fellowship has not only transformed the life of over 6,000 alumni across the continent, but has also amplified the voice of the young leaders.
The Vice President commended the Mandela Washington Fellows for their exemplary leadership and service, especially in education, healthcare, and social justice, which serve as an inspiration for generations to come. President Bola Tinubu has sent a letter to the Senate seeking confirmation of Lieutenant General Olufemi Olatubosun Oluyede's appointment as the substantive Chief of Army Staff. In a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, Oluyede's confirmation is by the provision of Section 218, Paragraph 2 of the 1999 Constitution as amended and Section 18, Paragraph 1 of the Armed Forces Act. President Tinubu appointed Oloyede as the acting Chief of Army Staff on October 30, following the illness of Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, who, however, died on 5 November. President Tinubu is confident about the leadership qualities, professional integrity, and experience of Lieutenant General Oloyede to lead and inspire the Army to ensure national security and stability. Since his commissioning as an officer, Oloyede has held many command positions. He has participated in several operations which have earned many honors for his meritorious service in various fields. Celebrating excellence in the media industry, the new National Star newspaper honors outstanding contributions to journalism. Among the distinguished awardees was the Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, Salihu Abdulhamid Dembers, who received the prestigious award for his remarkable leadership. Patricia S. Samiluba brings us the sights and sounds of the memorable dinner and award night.
The event brought together some of Nigeria's brightest minds in the media and beyond, who were awarded with 2 different categories of award totaling 35. Marking 5 years of impactful journalism, the Managing Director Obinna Nwachukwu highlighted the significance of this milestone and the influential personalities shaping the future of media in Nigeria.
We have seen cases where 20 to 30 million voters are registered and less than 10% of that number are recorded during elections.
The keynote address centered on strengthening democratic institutions and electoral systems in Nigeria, as the theme specifies.
Through the entire spectrum of our history, the mass media, the journalism profession, and those of you who are practitioners have been the main vehicles of bringing this country thus far.
It was a thought-provoking discourse that underscored the vital role of an independent media in safeguarding democracy and promoting transparency in governance, while the lecture emphasized on a well-informed electorate backed by robust institutions, which the speaker said is key to sustaining democratic process. As such, the evening honored exceptional individuals who have made significant contributions to the media industry. And among them is the Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, Saliu Abdul Hamid Dembos, represented by the General Manager International, Oganya Simon, reaffirming NTA's commitment to driving excellence in media practice.
Our DG, Comrade Saliu Abdul Hamid Dembos, has done a lot in the last few years. If you watch NTA, you know that we've evolving. He's a game changer. Things are getting better every day, and we promise Nigerians that we'll continue to get better and we'll deliver the best service.
Other award recipients echoed similar sentiments, applauding the organizers for creating a platform to celebrate achievements while challenging practitioners to uphold the highest standards of professionalism. Highlights and heartfelt moments of the dinner and award night also showcased Ambassador Phil Roberts and a national dance group to the thrill of the guests. Patricia Esamiluba, NTA News.
On that note, we end the news on NTA International. On behalf of Taiwo Ozoma, who's been on sign language, this is Nancy Godianguni, thanking you for watching.